Y'all, infidels. I think it's going to be a long, long time. Touchdown brings me back again to find I'm not the man I think I am at all. No. It's the Friday locker room, infidels, and we'll see if we can take it sky high. We're going to come plummeting back to the earth in a fiery blaze of hell. It's Hacker Hamin, Big Stevie Cool, selling those tickets pre-sale so we can get on the show, infidels. It's the Friday locker room. Y'all. Stevie, you want to go poster with me later and try and sell some front rows?
Yeah, they only sold 1,700 tickets more than I did on the show that I never ran around here in the Atlanta area. So I haven't even promoted the show.
Nice.
Well, that's crazy, man. We'll talk about that, I'm sure. But if you didn't catch the Russo Raw SmackDown review, WWE canceled. I don't know if it was TV or just a live event, but 1,700 tickets were sold, and they just gave up after, I guess, not instantly selling out.
I guess. I mean, that's going to be 5 times the draw of any other indie show, so they're already winning there.
Were they expecting instant sellouts, and now the parameter is if we don't sell out within the first day or a week, we're pulling the show.
Yeah,
which will make people not want to buy tickets then, because they're like, well, if there's a chance it's going to sell out, it's a very vicious double-edged sword.
Yeah, I mean, Atlanta, obviously a huge wrestling city, and they probably had their dartboard with the map on it of here's easy sellouts. We're going here, and here first. And then the rude awakening of wrestling is not over because you've driven your product down to a 1.4 rating because your creative is so utterly trash that the return of live crowds isn't going to be the saving grace because there's nothing that we want to come see. And the people that we did want to come see, you fired because you signed them to too big of a contract. You wanted to teach them a lesson about unionization or whatever it is to get the aha moment. But then when it comes back around and the reality is they shot themselves in the foot, they don't want to admit that at all. That's on the ticket buyers. They're just, it's a slow time. Olympics are going to be on.
Well, those might be canceled too.
Yeah,
they might have only sold 1,700 tickets to that.
Maybe less, right? Maybe they
well, they're not having people either, so they're not going to have people at the Olympics, and they're going to probably cancel it anyway. Which is whatever. I'm just about done with all sports or sports entertainment in general. I'd rather just read a book or watch a YouTube video on a 24-inch iMac is more exciting to me. I was going to say, do you think it might be not even so much the product, but the product mixed with the high ticket prices for a non-TV event?
I'm sure that doesn't help the situation at all. Plus, right now, it's like in wrestling, at least they're bold, or pro sports a little bit more bold with it. I see like all these comedians in my news feed and other performance acts like, guess who, the show's back on, guess who's coming back? Like all the musicians who wanted to toe the line and the comedians who wanted to do the SJW shit to like get all this over while they lost thousands upon hundreds of thousands, some of them maybe millions in revenue, are now like trying to sneak back out and like come out to the shows and and without being like, yeah, dude, it's back on, let's have a good time. F you to all the last year. There's none of that like overhype. It's like, let's just try and walk the line where we know it was all bullshit, but we can make our money back, but we got to play under their rules. And already we see DVOC variants all over the place in all of the testing areas: Israel, Chicago, LA. Guess what? You might be going back to lockdown and masks in restaurants, everybody, because of this new variant. And now, not even Delta, there's a Lambda one as well. So we better watch out for the tri-lambs and fucking, all those Greek signs. Is there going to be an Omega one? I don't know. But like, it's just absolutely more fear tactics with zero credibility left behind it. And then numbers coming out with supposedly of the DVOC jab that was supposed to protect everyone. Now it won't protect anyone against the Delta variant. It has no whatever against it. And the numbers from just the DVOC jab alone of related deaths was reported at 11,000. Truth comes out, it's over 45,000.
Which is still probably half of what it really is.
Probably, with more and more strange cardiac infarctions and all types of things going on, man. And it's just absolutely brutal to see people you love who try and push because of the pressure that they put on them, and fell victim to the propaganda, and they're still trying to push that on you. Meanwhile, more and more stories where they don't look, or even that'll never make it into their Good Morning America or MSNBC or Fox News feeds, that it was all a total sham from the jump. It's just it's tough to sit here and watch those people that you care about silently have to eat crow while still pushing the narrative that is a complete lie that they know, that they bought into. The cognitive dissonance is massive, bro. Massive.
I tried to look at this objectively, because once you go down into the rabbit hole of this, because I had somewhat of an epiphany, and then it automatically got shut down because of certain reasons. And I said to myself, maybe, just maybe, it's a Russo swerve that they're telling you not to take the jab. There's so much purpose, if you're a conspiracy person, you understand how you can go too far and you need to pull it back. But when I'm looking at it, is like, there's almost so much to the point of, this is obviously not working. I looked at it and said, wow, are they trying to prevent people in a, we call them dumb fucks, but there could be some really smart people saying, if we make it so blatantly obvious we're trying to give stuff away and do lotteries and do all this stuff, to where any normal person will kind of, whoa, wait a minute, this is too good to be true. There's no such thing as a free lunch, all those sayings.
Yeah.
But I would only believe that if there were millions of people in Florida and Texas dying, which there are not. It's either right in line or lower than New York, California, all the blue states. So that cuts that out. But that's the thought process. You got to look at it that way, because the Republicans or the conservatives, or whatever you want to call them, whatever team it is, secretly and politically, they love this, because they can get up on their bully pulpit and bash their fist down and talk about the injustice and the censorship and this and that. And guess what? They don't do a fucking thing either. This is their time to kick the can down the road, because the blame game is on the obvious, even worse workers than the Republicans, and that's the far left. And
the Dems who all flew to Texas to go against the recount of the election or what have you, and they're all posing on the plane, broing up, too sweeting each other, Briz, with no masks on, then are the ones that come down with it by design. Or if that's just like a, I guess a
interesting. You got to break down and stop yourself as you react as a human being to these stories. Because I did the same thing that you did, and everybody else is like, haha, that's what you get for being like, you're a hypocrite. Now, what that does, and I don't know, you probably know more of the chemical or the psychological makeup of what happens, but it's almost like, haha, that's what you get. I can go about my day now and not think about this thing. You get some sort of dopamine hit, but at the same time, you're not going to do anything to change it, because justice was kind of served right there. So I can just move on. So to me, I break it all down. And I think, just like I said before, there's a difference between being uninformed, which getting no information. And then my belief is there's so much information. I think it's all misinformation to a certain extent now. The conspiracy is the conspiracy.
It has nothing to do, exactly, and it has nothing to do with it, with like the actual get well, get by it. It's all about, and this is one of my favorite words, and a great improv team from back in the day, Schadenfreude, a German word that we don't really have in the English language, which means taking pleasure in others' misery. And that's really what we live. We live in Schadenfreude life right now. And Schadenfreude, some people would say, but I like the Freude. But speaking of improv, here's one yesterday where it's right in that same vein of what you're talking about, but and I don't expect this to be like, how could she from 75, 70, whatever she is now, but I'll stooge it off. Charna Halpern, who is the queen of improvisation in Chicago. She was Del Close's confidant, who started pretty much Chicago improv. and she owned Improv Olympic and has made everybody from Mike Myers, Chris Farley, Tina Fey, yada yada yada. But her theater, after they moved out of Wrigleyville and bought a beautiful new complex and everything, massive 7-theater complex. It's great, beautiful bar. They got slapped after the Second City Me Too SJW movement. While they're right in the eye of the shitacane of fucking the testing ground of what they're going to do to the world in Chicago, right? So her massive theater gets shut down, goes dark, no place for improv to go. Second City burns down, rebuilds, then gets shut down because of BLM bullshit and, them trying to fucking do some big SJW in their little safe spot there. This is what Charna posted yesterday. And this to me tells everything of living in that super bubble of a Chicago. I see Ontario's locked down, obviously still LA, what have you, wherever they want to push the agenda. This is from Charna's Facebook yesterday right here, okay? So it's right there. A new COVID wave, even worse than the last. President Biden needs to make the same rules as French President Macron. Keep the unvaccinated out of restaurants, planes, and public places. He must protect the people who choose to live and protect each other. The others can be free and stay at home. Biden needs to not worry about protesters or future votes. The majority of us will be happy. Bro. From a Jewish woman whose parents and grandparents were Holocaust related to that statement of a business owner who made the entire theater scene in Chicago is now saying the haves, the jabs, and the jab nots. And if not, you guys don't get any rights and fuck that and none of that. But if you go along with a program that we won't even acknowledge what a failure that is, and that in Israel itself, because Charna, shocker, Jewish owners in comedy, I know. That it would not be right there, ever present in their face, that they're part of a greater experiment and pushing that after she's probably lost $3-4 million and still in the bubble. Now, like I say, she's an older woman, and I think most women after 65 have lost their mind, to be honest with you. So from what I've seen from elementary school teachers and the conversations they've had. So, but yeah, man, that's where they are, and they're going to make a play for it right now. You're going to see, just like we've said before, and I know it was the hot topic of the week, bread and circuses. They gave it back at a weird, you'll jump through these hoops in order to do it, or now we're all vaxxed, so take the mask off. But are you really vaxxed, or are you lying about it? Are they lying? We can't tell anymore if they're vaxxed or not. And then that fucking, hatred between groups happens now with a fucked up return of a little bit of freedom and entertainment. Here comes the next one, and they're going to take it right away to do even more hate, to do even more problem, reaction, solution, to have people rise up so they can create more division, man. And that's right where we are right now, especially with the Olympics, and it's going to return to normalcy. And they're saying they may just cancel the whole Olympics the day before, which is today. So it's just an asinine situation meant to keep people confused and to wear them out to the point of just being like, I'm fucking done with all of you. I'm done with all of you. Government, sports, entertainment, comedy, you all can go fuck off like that. And that's pretty much where we're going to be within about 14 days. Everybody.
I've been done with most of it. I mean, there's been some stuff back and forth. One of the shows I thought I wanted to do for a long time was an NFL show. And Mitch, who's with the Russo brand, wanted to maybe do something together. I don't have my heart in it unless it's going to go south and I'm going to end up talking about all the other stuff outside football that bothers me about football that made me not a fan. I'm only going to watch YouTube videos of older Super Bowls and playoff games because this new shit, I don't want it. And maybe that's by design. I was going to say this too, that somebody in the chat was talking about France, that they are doing market of beast type stuff. If you're not vaccinated, you can't go shopping for food. You can't go anywhere. You're going to lose your job. So it's essentially buy, sell, and trade with this mark, with this vaccine. My thing, now thought I was fully retired, and I should be the way my back feels now. But I have a signing this weekend. Thank God, no red flags popped up, and I'm gonna have to wear a mask unless I'm eating or sitting in the food court. Which, by the way, everybody takes their time eating in the food court at the airport because they don't have to wear a mask, and it's packed. As opposed to sitting and being socially distanced further away, but you have to wear a mask if you sit down by the gate. But if you sit down by the food, because COVID's on a diet, COVID's intermittent fasting.
Keto.
Yeah. So not this booking, but the booking next week I have where I am wrestling, and no fault of the promotion. I got a text the other day, and I told you about it. Hey, are you vaccinated? I'm like, no, because I need to use my legs in order to wrestle. That's what I said. And then that they were like, oh, but you need to get a COVID test 5 days or earlier before the show and bring the papers. Show us your papers or show the stupid fucking commission. There you go. Back to wrestling commissions and state commissions that are just going to do it to make money, because you know what's going to happen? Guys are going to forget, because wrestlers are don't know if you know this, wrestlers are very irresponsible. They'll show up the day of the show. I'm sure they'll have a COVID tester there, and you'll get a rapid test for $250, which the state's going to take. I'm done. I was like, fuck, if I wasn't on the poster, I would just tell them, forget it. Here's your money for your flight back, and I'll eat the rental car. I don't need it. But that's essentially a mild form of the market of beast type shit. Now, what are you going to do now? Like, not be able to get into a rental car, not be able to get on a plane? My thing is to just fine, do it your way, because there's going to be a COVID civil war. That's the civil war, not the BLM stuff, not the riots, not the violence. It's going to be passive aggressive. Hey, did you see this person's not wearing a mask? And they just go and grab you from the restaurant and take you to jail very quietly.
That's what she was just calling for. The rest of them sit home. I don't give a shit. The majority is going to have some fun, and we get to live life in society.
Well, in this COVID civil war, where would you rather be? Would you rather be on a coastline where a condo could collapse, or would you rather be in Wyoming or Montana or Idaho? Wyoming's my pick.
Yeah,
I don't care, because then if the super volcano blows, I'm dead instantly. I don't have to even live through it.
Yeah, when super volcano goes off, it'll.
My wife said that. She goes like, "Oh my god, if we're close to the super volcano and it goes off, what'll happen?" And I go, "Yeah, what if we're 4,000 miles away and we got to live through the nuclear winter?" That was like, would you rather be hugging me for 5 seconds or looking at me like I'm your dinner 8 months later?
Bolt of bright flash of light and everything I love was gone. But that's the harsh reality of where we're going in the next week to 2 weeks of them trying to reignite this. And then the other side of that coin will be twice as violent and angry and hateful as they want to make it to keep it divided. So not a good look. Meanwhile, at the same time, fucking billionaires are doing the new Keeping Up with the Joneses, blasting dick rockets into fucking space, and they pay no taxes. And meanwhile, our businesses get zapped for 30%, and there goes all of my profits, and just to try and stay alive another year. But no taxes for them, and let's get them into space. Let's get them up there, you guys. That's a huge important thing. Dude, if I was a billionaire, I don't care how much tech I have, like, and reliability. I'm not risking my life to that amount on fucking going up there to just be like.
There's theories that he didn't risk his life.
Yeah, there's
theories out there about that.
I agree. And I wouldn't doubt it, because I don't look at those guys as like men who fucking are like, I'm an adventurer. I'm going to fucking get it. So, but it's more of a slap in the face of a let them eat cake scenario while we argue about crumbs in our own ability to be free. And they go, hey, I'm leaving the planet and spending enough money that could solve the poverty problem this year. But, rockets and headlines, you guys. That's what's important, so.
Oh, dude, I mean, this stuff has always been going on. It's just that we are so, like I said, over-informed 24/7. Pick up your phone and you can see anything you want or even don't want to some degree. it's just a matter of it's always going to be there. And I'm not saying give up. I'm saying if you just live your life, Jordan Peterson, clean your room. If we can't get our own house in order and we can't, and that's the problem too. It's the voyeurism of people. Like you said, I want to see how bad, I want to see the car wreck of Caitlyn Jenner or the Kardashians or this person in the reality show. So I can feel better that I'm not such a failure in my life.
Bill Cosby, any of that shit, bro.
Yeah, it's cool. It's we all watch it, but what I'm saying is like, okay, for that 15 to 30 minutes where you're watching and you can't believe the Biden town hall or is talking about where he literally brought up people think we suck children's blood, which is like, but those are things that 30 minutes I probably could have pulled the piano out and learned how to play. I could have probably created a video to teach somebody how to properly do something so they don't blow their elbow or knee out. These are the things that, and it sounds so cliche to say, you only have so many trips around the sun. You almost have so much time in your life. Would you rather be loving somebody and doing something positive or helping somebody? Or would you rather just be looking and saying, well, it's just human nature. Oh, look at that stupid son of a bitch.
Well,
which is 5 hours of wrestling for us. Why do we do that for money?
Yeah. Hate takes no effort to judge. The other takes, ability and time, and it's a lot easier to go to the other. And that's just human nature. Unfortunately, the beast that's within all of our fucking DNA. I'm not sure why, but yeah, man, it's been a big week here of us trying to do good things, whether it's getting Realm shows lined up, had some good conversations with not just my producers, but talent that's developing shows to pitch to Vince to get things going and get the ball rolling. So it's full speed ahead with Hamin Media Group, Russo brand, Realm business, SRF business as well, punching the shit out of things. I hope your back gets better quicker though, man. I know that's a huge pain in the ass. I rejoined Planet Shitlist yesterday. I hated to do it. Yeah, I was just I'm in the studio. I can't work out in a 4x4 space anymore. I feel like I've really been in prison and I just needed to get back on the bike. So went out and made it rain yesterday and did some arms and shoulders. So yeah, what are you going to do, man? I hate to fucking bow to the masters, but no masks, none of that bullshit. So at least we're back to halfway normal for, like I said, 2 weeks until they try and relock that down and I cancel again.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I used to join gyms and switch up every 6 months just to keep my body guessing and stuff like that. So there's something to be said when you're producing. You sit in front of that computer a lot longer than I do. So I can always get up and move the cameras and do whatever I need to do. But you need to get out and take that hour or so and be out there. And, that eventually you're going to get kicked out. So just enjoy it while you can.
It is true. It is absolutely true that eventually I will be kicked out. And I'll be out in the streets reading today's headlines to anybody who will listen. Stevie, are you ready to rock? Anything else, man, we wanted to cover?
Not that I can think of. I still want to start my other channel and stuff, but how I'm like Sal that way. I keep holding it up. But I got a ton of road stuff and a ton of other tech stuff, and I just want to keep myself sharp. You know what I mean? I've been too far in my comfort zone with that kind of stuff. So, plus, Road sent me a cool blackout hat that my wife.
I saw that was an awesome hat. Actually, I was super jealous when I saw it. It's a very cool hat. And shout out to Road, everybody over there who hooked us up with the Roadcasters.
Ding dong.
A great piece of equipment all the way around for doing what we do at an unbelievable price. If you're looking to get into podcasting, the Roadcaster Pro, there's nothing like it. It's a complete radio studio to take calls, do whatever you want, play the music, and have multi-channels. What the hell is that? Time?
We've used about 8% of the power of these things.
Yeah, well, what are you gonna do when you got them at
Japanese?
You can't.
That's our 92% right there.
You can't take them any higher than that. I don't know. I must have hit something on the Roadcaster as a timer up, just letting me know how long the show's going. I guess that's interesting.
Did you hit record?
I did hit record, so I'm going to stop that.
I remember the little tip there. If you ever want to go audio only and you want to save yourself some time and have a higher quality recording than StreamYard, you can record to the SD card while we're doing this.
Awesome.
and that'll give you really good. And that way, there's no breaking up or anything like that, or pixelation or max headroom effect.
Which it might be going on right now because as soon as you said that,
Yeah, I just got it.
Dude, last night was brutal during the AEW watch along, not just because of the show, but because of StreamYard going down to one bar here. Are you hearing me or am I all fucked
I
up?
can hear you now. Yeah, I hear you now, but the video is off a little bit, but it's better.
It's infuriating because I went over to the neighbor who's a top guy at Spectrum and installation teams, and he's like, I got all the new shit. He's like, oh, the new shit sucks. You got to get this $200 router to do. I'm just like, come the fuck on with the corporate rape all the fucking time. You want to push us out to 5G. You want to, your router and modem's outdated.
Yeah, but that's location, dude, because I had Spectrum here in Smyrna, and they didn't even charge me rental. It was like, I mean, the speeds weren't what Xfinity is, but I was happy, and I wasn't under a contract, and it was month to month. Sure, they raised it, but I think it's your location. I think it more has to do with Time Warner up there in the New York area. It just sucks.
I'm less than a mile from a secret military base industrial complex. You'd think I'd have
fiber over internet.
Yeah, you'd think I'd have fiber running to the back of my fucking head at this point.
And but they get the over internet. Should you don't get it?
I worked for Fiber Instrument Sales too, which is only 20 minutes away. And they're the world's leading supplier of fiber optic. Why is this whole place not wired constantly? There's no excuse except sheer greed. And I hope the masters at Spectrum launch themselves into space and do a 1987 Challenger job.
I want to give you a little fact. I was watching the Book of Secrets, which is good on the History Channel, but don't watch it before you go to bed or you'll have nightmares. Like when I used to watch 9/11 documentaries and fall asleep to them. My wife would love how like Jesus Christ around 2 a.m. like the guy like looking at the buildings, they're like getting hit. But here's an interesting fact, and it blew my mind because you just talked about the billionaires, you talked about the people in hell we're so fucked. The supply chain, the energy, like for example, Philadelphia only has 1 day of call available all the time. So if there's a breakup in that supply chain, you have a blackout.
Yep.
The grid is so vulnerable to everything, to EMPs, to solar flare, to anything that can. We saw what happened to the pipeline with the ransomware attacks, all that stuff, whether real or not. This guy was being interviewed, and he literally said it like it was such a huge number. He goes, if we wanted to harden the grid, it would cost somewhere between 15 to 20 billion dollars to fortify it. I'm like, we just printed like 7 trillion or 8 trillion in the past 6 months or a year. Like literally that's a lot of money. You could tax me a little more if you want to put and really fortify the electric grid so it never goes down.
Yeah.
That doesn't scare people. That makes people feel better. And it's nowhere in the infrastructure plan, by the way. The $1.9 to $4 trillion or wherever it's going to be, there's no thing. Now they want tons of electric vehicles and charging stations, but nothing to improve the grid or build bridges or anything. Yes, this is a wrestling podcast, by the way. If you're not used to this.
Hey, I'm getting whined at to go for a piss break for 90 seconds. Can you vamp or rant about something real quick? I'm
sure.
not for
I make pretend it's the morning warm up for 90 seconds.
Yeah, dude, I'll be right back. Come in, bud.
Okay, so we are here. Ben is, I understand that, except my cats just pee wherever they want, hopefully in a litter box sometimes. So I'm going to look at the chat room here. We were talking about everything but wrestling and want to look down here, check it out, see what we have going on. We got Frank in here. We got Bison. We got Sonic. We have Big J, Hope Spot, Cujo, J Crab 101. And let's see, they've been putting bigger polls all in my area in the last 3 years and building new substations. Oh, well, that's good news. I don't know if that is the case everywhere because we have power outages and everything like every other month here. So, and we don't get the storms that Florida does or snowstorms or anything that can really bring it down. So we're talking about like, it's clear right now. So the electric grid here could go down at any moment. So it's crazy. Let's see her in the chat room. Yeah, I want to wait for Ben to come back on that. So basically, what J Cred 101 is talking about in the chat room, I wish I could bring it up, that Tony Khan supposedly, I saw the clip, but Ben probably has a story about it, that his company AEW does not have a performance center. They have AEW Dark Elevation, which I think Ben would agree with me that I have to laugh. Ben would agree with me that I don't necessarily think it's a good thing to put people who are inexperienced on television, even if it is a YouTube show, to treat that as the first impression or exposure and have them learn as they get paid as they're on an online or television show. That would be my take on that. And I remember when I started wrestling in 1991, believe it or not, my body wasn't there, nowhere near there. My wrestling skills were nothing. My promos sucked. I knew I wasn't good enough to be on TV, and I left Eastern Championship Wrestling before they got their TV deal, knowing that if you saw me in that state on television as a first impression, that I would be batting with 2 strikes against me. And quite frankly, I had enough embarrassing matches anyway. At that point, I didn't want any more. Someone was asking, I'm sure there's a press release, Ben, Tony Khan, and I saw the clip. Tony Khan, after Dynamite, quoted as saying, and I'm paraphrasing, but you get the idea, we do not have a performance center. We have AEW Dark Elevation. And the point I was making was, by the way, wasn't I okay host in the 90 seconds that Ben was gone?
You were phenomenal.
So, morning warm-ups, not coming back. So, Tony Khan says this, and my point was when Frank asked me in the chat, I said, well, my business model wouldn't be the one to throw kids out there to learn on TV or an online show as they get paid. That is not a good start, and that's not a gotcha for somebody that has. I've been to that place, a place that Triple H had researched to mimic an NFL level training facility. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's every bit an NFL training facility with multiple rings, an entrance, a promo room, film study, a strength and conditioning. I think that's second to none. As a matter of fact, I think they got somebody from the NFL to be a strength and conditioning coach, full-time trainers, full-time rehab people, everything, nutritionists. Like I've said in the past, when we've done our show here, I said, I wish I had that when I was there, because my injuries would have been cut down as long as Heidenreich wasn't wrestling me, at least 40 to 60%. I'd be in the best shape because I'd be training smart rather than emotionally every single day. And I'd have a blueprint and structure. So AEW Dark Elevation versus the Performance Center, I think I'd take the Performance Center.
Yeah. Why would you, if you have no daily classes or everyone getting ready and learning their matches or breaking things down how they should, you don't have Serena, Mark Henry, Jerry Lynn, and all them teaching class every day. You're just like, we'll give you a match and you'll get it right after you're done power washing. And maybe if you spent $4,500 at Nightmare Factory, you can get a shot too.
Correct. It was J Creb 101 that made the comment and asked that question. So I just want to give him credit for that.
Appreciate all you guys, 34 strong here at Hamin Media Group YouTube channel. Hopefully after tomorrow, we'll be able to go back on Ben Hamin channel. Who knows? But twitch.tv/Hamin Media as well. Had some good bit cheers last night, subscriptions. So I appreciate you guys now that we're back affiliated on the Twitch side as well.
So what do you think though? I mean, why would Tony Khan come out there and that's the last impression you give the crowd after 25,000 matches on Dark and whatever on Dark?
Why would you say that? Like, he said it after Dynamite and references the Performance Center. So he's selling for NXT without, like, where it's almost like an excuse of like, we get it. Our indie guys aren't ready for TV and we know they're rotten, but we don't have a Performance Center like they do. They get their experience. You know what I mean? Like, that's not what he's saying.
That's not what he's saying. I think in his goofy mind, he's saying that
we don't have Performance center.
Even the people that are our worst people are still TV ready. To some, I mean, I don't know if I'm putting that quite correctly, but he's saying we don't have students. Even the people that are on AEW Dark Elevation are TV ready, which is the most insane thing to say. Here's what's wrong. Another billionaire, even though it's his dad's money, where someone's not pulling him aside, just like Bezos, and saying, hey, dude, your rocket looks like a penis. You know what I mean? And you're laughing and saying, thanking the workers for paying for your fun little flight.
Right.
You know, hey, I mean, that's enough for people to want to boycott buying Amazon, even though we are so obsessed with it. Tony Khan probably ran this by somebody and said, oh, after the show, I want to go out and say this. What do you think? Because he's not secure enough to just go out and do it.
Right.
And the Bucks or Cody or somebody didn't pull him aside and say, dude, but why would you say that? I mean, that's like, first of all, you're saying our shitty talent, we don't care about Dark Elevation in a way, but you're also saying our guys aren't, even our most inexperienced guy. He could have said, that's what we have Cody's wrestling school for, and they're trained the right way for all styles. But it's still a completely tone-deaf speech. It's like, you ever see that meme of, no one, ... no one, ... no one, ... Tony Khan, we don't have a performance center. What?
Hey,
what? Who asked? Where the hell you been?
Yeah. Where the hell you been, TK? Dude, that's the thing that show his OCD analytic mind, where it's just like somebody said something and it probably chipped away at him through 4 hours of the show until like, now I'm gonna go out and get my shit in, and then we don't have a performance center. What, dude? What the fuck are you talking about? Are you having a psychotic event right now?
People are leaving the building, and he's talking. They're like, well, what's Tony Khan?
Okay, bro. All right, we don't have one. All our stars are on TV already, everybody. Oh, yeah.
Khashoggi, though.
Yeah. How'd that work out for Luther? How's that working out for Swole? How's that working out for
but wait a minute. They're not on Elevation. They're on the actual Dark show, which is the second day. It's like the heat or velocity of that's actually the one that, I mean, why they advertised 17. Wasn't it 17 matches last time?
Yeah. 3 hours. Hold me closer, tiny.
And now they have a crowd. So now they have a crowd, dude. So a crowd has to sit through 17 matches for Dynamite.
And all great matches too, because they don't have a performance center. So I'm sure all the people are ready for TV, and they're just going to do great things and not a ton of falsies and not get their shit in and not learn how to even work a lockup the right way or tell a story. They'll figure it out on Dark Elevation eventually. They'll figure it out, you know.
I think they're listening to us because for AEW Dark, it says 7 matches featuring. It's like, I don't doubt he listens, but I can't go and just walk into his office like you think I can.
Yeah, you probably get escorted out for not having enough credentials. Yeah, but the oddness and the self-egregiousness continues, you know, like it just shows. And the other part of that too is all these people on Elevation and Dark could be gone. Like there could be 30 of them tomorrow.
AEW Dark Elevation, 15 matches. So now 22 matches before you get to Dynamite.
Before you get to Dynamite, bro. Like it's his job to get them ready to do anything. If anything, they should be at Seidel Dojo. They should be at Gangrel's. They should be at Cody's, having a little side indie thing to let them work with each other.
They have a showcase like on Monday nights or something. No, they haven't. So that's probably 15 matches. So now you got 100 matches a week of AEW.
And now you just brought in so ready for TV, Nick Gage, and then Chavo Guerrero last night.
Oh, really?
Yep, Chavo's now with El Idolo because he can't cut a Prisomo himself. And then they bring back Death Triangle. Phoenix is back, and it's just like, dude, the ex-WWE guys that they're bringing in every week that are now chipping away at Tony's pocketbook as Supreme Workers. It's TNA 2.0, and all of the fucking parking lot mission statement stuff that we got August of 2019, 2018. We're not going to be hiring any of their people when they get, no, this is all the young, this is the youth movement. This is all the people that never got a shot, They hire them all. And now when they're exposed as dog shit workers who don't know how to even work for TV, who are, let's bring over the 60-pound Japanese girl so she can tap somebody on the head with the microphone. That's the look you wanted. Get Chavo. Like there's no the difference between quality from where they started, from where he wants now, and just getting his pockets picked by supreme sharks in this business. All of those kids that were there for the foundation, all of the fucking I bet most of the Dark Order will be gone. All the librarians, all the FCW future endeavors, all the indie worker friends, gone by the end of this year, bro, because there's no way they can have a sustainable roster of 250 wrestlers with no performance center or performance center show. So just asinine business, just terrible business acumen, not even inside the wrestling biz. It's like going out and hiring all your friends to start the business who know nothing about whatever it is. Could be fiber optics. Yeah, guys, we're going to be the best in the world. And then you go and hire all the top fiber people from GE or whatever and expect your friends to like actually be able to hang with them in the same level of having a doctorate versus being in kindergarten.
You mentioned name Big Swole. Someone posted in your group about, was it AEW botches that went after her? I've never seen one of her matches, but supposedly they said she's pretty terrible.
She's got good charisma, good look. It's that same Bianca Belair ghetto-fied, look at me, world star shit. And then the bell rings and no idea where the cameras are. Spot, trying to memorize a match that we put together with 60 spots instead of just learning how to work a hold back and forth and get a finisher over, get heat on. Like none of that's in their matches. They have no clue what they're doing, bro. That to me is just, hey, we need a great affirmative action hire who's a strong black woman. Swole's there. Oh, Jade Cargill too. Then the bell rings. Then the fucking bell rings and everything's exposed within the first 60 seconds, bro. And
I can't see them having a conversation. I mean, well, maybe they do, but I can't see it even being that honest of a conversation to say we need to have this, because they're not an affirmative action group anymore. They're not even an SJW or progressive promotion. They're no different than any other. They're literally TNA or WCW, and it feels like it's all the worst of both.
They had a man. Oh yeah, they had a man fighting for the women's title last night, trying to tell everybody that it's a woman in there, and then the man who's supposed to be a super beast killer woman is working 50-50 with the dentist. So even then, they didn't know that the match should be 90-10 with Britt going over in the last thing out of nowhere. Instead, Britt kicked the shit out of the transvestite that we all have to believe in.
Did Nyla throw punches? Because I'd be very careful. See, I'd be very careful. I don't know how you put it or how you word it or what I would say, but I would say this, that you're much bigger than her, and obviously you're you. Yeah. And I would just say you can't throw punches because you're so much bigger than this girl, and you're going to punch her in the face and she's not going to sell it. It's going to make you look like shit.
They're not even, aside from the close your eyes and take this spoonful and believe that it's a woman, they're not even working it as, all you got to do is look at an Awesome Kong versus Gail Kim match and do the exact fucking same thing. Instead, they're trying to work like Eddie and shit, dude. And they went 5 minutes too long. Britt got way too much on Nyla, buried Nyla's beast size. So now Nyla's just a frail woman like every other woman in there, even though she's not a woman at all. And how dare you dead name her? And fuck that, bro. You're gonna push this stuff on me. I'm gonna push truth back right on you of what things are. I'm not that guy.
I saw a picture just now. It looks like she couldn't even get whatever the rings of Saturn on her or whatever.
The finish was there, the sugar hold with the fish hook or the mandible claw gimmick that she puts on. But they went 5 minutes too long and buried all of Nyla's size, worked 50-50. So even the people with the belts and the people who should know their gimmick, no idea what they're doing, bro. Guy who does know what he's doing, Matt Hardy, he jokes about Jeff Hardy beating Karrion Kross on Raw online. So Matt Hardy joked about what happened and wondered why Jeff wasn't the new champion. Why does Kross still have the title? I thought my brother won it. Of course, Kross's match against Jeff on Raw was a non-title bout. The NXT champ appeared again on last night's NXT segment with Samoa Joe. Kross took out the GM, William Regal, to close out the show, which the whole storyline is there that no one can mess with Regal because Joe's the enforcer. And until you cross the line, Joe can't put his hands on you. And then now I guess he's crossed the line. But the whole thing was building towards Joe versus Kross. But all this punishment that we talked about on Russo brand that everyone's been talking about, and plenty of sheets. Like, I listen to some dirt sheet writers that some I used to work with. They have no inside info. They have no clue what's going on. They think it's like, well, if they started out with Jeff Hardy beating them, that way they don't have to have Kross go on an undefeated streak and then lose. And then maybe they'll bring in the reason why he lost is because he didn't have Scarlett at his side. And now when he's got Scarlett,
she's a difference maker.
Yeah, I go, well, you fucking Mark idiots have no idea what's going on, or they do.
Next time I'm in a bar fight, I'll make sure my wife's there to give me the extra energy to win.
Or they do know, and they're too big of pussies to say it on air to fucking actually put things over, bro. This is WWE payback politics at the cost of your investment 101, to show just inside their own bubble of, you want to fuck with us, we'll fuck you over 10 ways to Sunday just to make you humble and make you a broken toy like the rest of us, instead of, you know what, this guy could actually bring $5 to $10 million in and possibly get us up 300-400 rating points if we did it the right, or 300-400,000 in the ratings if we did it the right way. Nah, we got a heat on him because he sold for Gargano and Cole and NXT and called them out in the locker room. Now we got him. That's way more important because our shows are doing so well that we don't need those extra numbers. What the fuck, bro?
Oh, man. I'm just trying to put this in a way and explain. Could you explain step by step what happened and why Kross is the one that has heat? You kind of, I just want you to say and think, as everyone's listening or watching out there, as a normal man, how this is all reversed completely and we're living in a bizarre world.
So none of this is all my own opinion and hearsay and what I've seen from watching NXT and what I know of developmental locker rooms, which are almost more cutthroat because they want to get you ready to go to the main roster so you're ready to deal with the big sharks. But right now, the biggest sharks in the history of the business run NXT. And I'm talking about the Clique, bro. So there's guys who snuck their way in. Not to say Gargano and Ciampa didn't work their fucking ass off. They called the office every day to get gigs for a year and a half while they were Psycho Killer, Keskase, and Ring of Honor and everything else they were doing to bust their ass. So they got in. Cole gets in based on piggybacking off of being the elite and using that leverage to be like, oh, well, he could go to AEW. We better sign him real quick. Meanwhile, the reality is they're 5'7", 145 pounds, 160 pounds. And couldn't beat most of the guys I went to high school with, the farm boys. So, but they're good workers, cut a good promo, abso-fucking-lutely. And that goes for the rest of the Undisputed Era too. It's the same fucking thing. So that's the cool kids club. Here comes Killer Kross with maybe a third, 5 years in the business where they've got about 15 each. And those guys are all good workers, can go. But if you're to look at them and go, is there money on this guy or is there money on this guy? Every veteran who saw Killer Kross knew, from Disco to fucking Sin Bodhi to D-Lo to whoever that gives him advice, Russo, Rip. You just know that there's money there on Kross, a next level performer just based on look and respect alone. Those guys can never have what Killer Kross has, being over 6 foot, having that kind of look, having that, even his promos, even his promo skills crush theirs. His editing skills on the side when he would do stuff before he even got signed was incredible. dude. And then he's got super hot chick with him. Okay, all that's the setup. Then as Killer Cross is kind of exposed as not being the level of worker that those guys are, because he's
outside the ring.
Outside, yeah, right, outside the ring. They are in Shawn Michaels' pocket. They love Shawn. They grew up on him, Cole and Gargano. And what does Shawn like to do? Because of a little guy, he's going to politic and wind these fucking guys up left and right. So in promos, they're going at Cross on camera, on TV, saying he's a half-ass shit worker, that he's all hype, and that you take away all the entrance and you take away all the that, and there isn't nothing there, that the Undisputed Era is the real deal or whatever, to the point where Cross in a rebuttal promo, which they probably knew they had him, calls Gargano a mark on TV. And when you do that, now they know they got you. They know that you've had to go to talking about the biz instead of being able to stay professional and get silent but deadly digs in like they're trying to do. And then when Cross goes to the back after he knows that he's kind of effed up doing that, and them talking shit about him and his what they consider lack of skill, which is bullshit, he fucking goes off on Gargano backstage in front of everybody in the front of the locker room. Got him. That's what they want. They want you to break from the silent heat game and the small jabs that they get on camera to tear you down in front of the fans' eyes. So when you're in your car and your face is all red and you're bitching a Scarlet, I'm going to kill these motherfuckers. How dare they, and they're at home going, we got this motherfucker right where we want him, bro. He's going to break next week. And then when he steps up and acts like a man to call out another man who's fucking with his livelihood, that's when we set the hook. And in my opinion, Shawn Michaels behind almost all of this, bro. It feels so click, so HBK. So because of that, now that word trickles up through Triple H to the office to whoever, and now they're going to test Cross and go, you think you're over and you can stand up and be a locker room leader? We're going to show you how humble you have to be. And if you fail this test, then we know we really got your mind fucked up, and we'll tune you up even more. So they put him on main event, no Scarlet Bordeaux, generic music, no big NXT entrance opening to strip him down to see, are you going to fucking say something? Please say something to Vince. See how well that works out for you, pal. And they're all in on it too, just waiting to see what his reaction is coming through the curtain. Then on Raw, same thing, bro. And they have him go under to a babyface champ who's lost for a full year, and the babyface champ, or Jeff Hardy, former champ, goes over on the NXT champ with feet on the ropes, a heel finish. So there's so many tests right here. Killer Cross, you got a problem losing to Jeff Hardy, multi-time world champion? You think you're better than the rest of us and you can't do that? And then, Jeff, we know you've lost a bunch of matches and you're a babyface, but we want you to beat this guy with feet on the ropes and a heel finish. And Jeff goes, why would I do feet on the ropes? I'm a baby. Oh, you don't want to do what we say? You don't want to
job you out for 8 months. Do you want to go back to that?
Right.
Or they don't say anything. All right, cool. And,
right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. They give you that to see your reaction from both Jeff and him. And if either of them step up to say, hey, isn't this the wrong business? Shouldn't this be this, that, or the other? What the fuck did you say? You don't want to do business? You're better than the rest of us? You like, how can I trust you now when I want to put the title on you or have you drop it at WrestleMania? I can't trust you. Like all these setup things that are silent to see the reaction. And if you'll just take it up the ass and fucking go out and do phony wrestling business at the cost of the moment for USA, Fox, whoever, you only get one chance to make a first impression, to kick a guy off and to fucking really introduce him. That was it. So now your first, they lose money, WWE loses money, the guy loses steam and credibility, all for these tests within a test from heat, from little guys who will never draw you a dime at the highest level. Maybe Cole could, maybe Adam Cole could, but just to make you to go from a man that has work ethic, reliability, forward thinking, to play this fucked up, twisted, sociopathic game and just draw you into the circle of shit. That's all they really want to do. They don't care about making you a better performer or da-da-da. They just want to show that they can ruin you too if you don't play the game the right way, man. Did I leave anything out there? And there is another component. I don't really want to get into it because I got a lot of respect for Cross about his woman. And when you date
relationships in wrestling, when that's there makes it tough no matter what. Hell, let's leave it at that, right?
Yeah, when you date inside the industry, you're looking for like a lot of problems and extra stress can arise. And I'll leave it at that.
Here's the gist of where it's all reversed in a bizarre world that I want to point out. Usually in any other sport or anything, even in a prison yard, if you want to kind of relate it to a prison mentality or a prison environment, if somebody fucks with you and you let it go, they disrespect, they feel like they got you. Like you just said, if you don't answer it, we got them. So football, they haze you a little bit, you put up with it. But if they keep bullying you and you don't stand up for yourself, that's how you're buried in the football locker room. Here, it's the exact opposite. If you go up like a man and say, hey, man, blah, 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 and let's squash this or do whatever, or let's figure this out now. Or if you've got a problem, we can really figure it out. In wrestling, when you expose them for their fucking underhanded backstabbing tactics, you're the one that ggets punished for exposing the scumbags.
You're going to lose either way. It's a no-win situation.
You let them do it forever, or like I said, if they this system, and I'm not saying the guys, because the guys were decent guys before they got there. So this system has poisoned all of them if that's what they're doing. I'm not there to see it, but I've seen it change enough people to know that chances are it did change them, and it became cliquish. And of course they love Sean and they want to impress their hero. And when you look at that, you're going to eventually, you're talking about two guys right off the bat, Killer Cross, and you're talking about Jackson Riker. You fuck with the wrong, eventually you're going to fuck with a Benoit level mental case. And they're not going to wait to go home to do something. They're going to do it. They're going to do what they need to do right there.
The lesson
you better
learned,
be careful.
Well, not right there. The lesson learned is don't do it in the locker room. You take it on the chin and go, and then you wait. You wait and this sounds even sick and fucked up. You wait in the bushes, you wait in the car, you fucking wait to drive to Wawa behind them.
We're talking about the kind of people they don't even know they're dealing with. I'm not saying it's Cross and Riker, but eventually you're going to cross no pun intended, you're going to cross the wrong person. And it could be a female for all you know. It could be either.
It's like I feel like I would be and you would be in, because we know the game where Cross maybe doesn't, they got to him and that's whatever, and he doesn't have the big brother. But you best watch your back if you're going to Wawa down the road, because I'm following you there, and then when we're not on NXT, I'm going to grab you by your fucking throat and go, if you ever fuck with me or my money or my livelihood or my family again, they'll find you face down in a fucking pond in Florida as gator bait. And not to, like, he can run to fucking Sean and Stooge after that he wants. But if you do that and cut the promo in front of the locker room of like, let's be men and do this, boom, they got you, bro. That's exactly what they want, is for you to sell in front of it. So you have to almost go, I'm going to threaten murder on this guy to fucking get him to change outside of it. So it's not, when it comes back and he stooges, he goes, dude, the guy followed me to the fucking convenience store, threatened to kill me and my whole fucking family. Yeah. Because you set up this fucking scenario to
push it to that level. Yeah.
But if you do it in front of the locker room, then they got you fully. And to even have this hypothetical conversation.
I'm not talking about cutting the promo. I'm talking about doing something in the locker room. Like he starts breaking legs and shit. That's what I mean. And just walks out. What are you going to do then? Or you get the wrong mentally unstable person. You're trying to break somebody. You break them. They've got a pretty good track record of being very lucky that the person they're breaking doesn't try to break back.
Yeah. And that's the thing with Cole and those guys, there's no way they could do anything. That's why they have to play this headspace game, bro. And now, and the worst part of it, A Cross's fucking debut, which should have been massive, should have been a huge event with fucking 6 weeks of pre-tapes with him standing on a Mustang, telling us he's an influencer beforehand. That all that we were robbed of, he was robbed of. The build to have something at SummerSlam or whatever it's going to be in a face-off with Orton, hopefully. down to next to nothing. He's lost to a babyface in a heel way just to see if they'll take it. And now go back to NXT as an undefeated champion to face Samoa Joe, where he had all this build, but now he lost like that. So that shit doesn't mean anything. Here's the biggest problem. And because I lived through it from when WWE was at developmental and when they weren't, and it was like a huge weight off everybody's shoulders. Did we miss it and not having all that clout? Absolutely. But it went from such a toxic environment when Mike Cruel and Spears and Cody and Ryback and Punk and fucking, I can keep going on and on and on, of those guys were being taught to how to play the game, to deal with Triple H, to deal with Shawn. So they played politics at that level just to sharpen their swords to get ready. Once that went away, we could all breathe easy. But that toxic environment has to be huge in NXT, the paranoia level. Because now the precedent set of Cole and Gargano and fucking those guys got fucked over Cross. Who can't they get over on if they can get over on him? So now we've got a locker room leader clique of cool guys who are not to be fucked with, and then other guys will kiss their ass because they know they want to get over with them and that they're tight with Shawn and Game and they can probably get their business done, and it just becomes a huge backstabbing, mistrust locker room where I'm all about fucking group mind, patterns and watching the show, and everybody's into everybody else's stuff with ideas. This is the exact opposite. This is I, me, my, and we'll fucking cut your throat. And the only reason they're doing it is to make Shawn Michaels smile so he can find his fucking smile again.
I've said this before. I'll say it again. I'll probably say it 100 more times in different situations. The business is hard enough without any of this.
Mm-hmm.
It's already extremely difficult to leave your family, to immerse yourself in this physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all of the above, not knowing if there's going to be a true payoff. And especially in the place that you dream as a kid. I know you haven't been there, Ben, and I know Bruce and I joke with you, but it really is the cycle of the cycle of life, or cycle of like mental breakdown, or whatever you want to call it. You dream all your life of getting to this place. You work your ass off and you eat shit, and you got to eat shit, pal, no matter what. But
why?
You get to a particular point where you're a pro. You are a pro, and it should be a barrier when you break it, much like the NFL. And I know there's instances where people get set up to fail in the NFL. What I'm saying is, for the most part, coaches and people within the system are going to try to make the best players that they can, because the coaches will lose their job, just like the coaches there should lose their job. The writers should lose their job because they're not making the talent the stars that they're supposed to be. This is where, once again, this is all backwards. The people that are supposed to build up the talent and make the show the best that they can do it are self-sabotaging the company to a level that I've never seen in my life. And that's always been that way in wrestling.
Their complacency and not stepping up and going, hey, man, I've been working with Cross for 6 months. I don't think this is the way. I understand what you guys are doing, but this is a big money loss if we debut this guy to teach a lesson that way. Nobody's standing up and saying that. So them just going, oh, I see what they're doing to him. I better stay small so I don't get my nuts chopped off too. Perpetuates the toxicity backstage. Am I way off with any of this in how you see it working?
No, you just have this thing, much like when we look at the way the evil of the world works. You and I look at it and go, and that's the cognitive dissonance within the world and even in the locker room. Nah, man, in disco saying, nah, I don't think that's what's happening. Dude, all you got to do is watch. You got to see the way they create. The truth is in their actions. They can say all they want, that they love them and they're this and that, and we're a big family and clap your hands and let's have some fun tonight. But their actions say the exact opposite of all that. Yeah. So yeah, that's where we get caught up with the PR and the Cena Make-A-Wishes and all this other bullshit PR. The real company, if they cared about the talent and they wanted them to be the best that they could be, you wouldn't see the shows we see today or for the past 10 to 20 years. You wouldn't see it. You hire somebody that's worked all their time to be there, and it's almost like, How dare you tell me you're happy to be here and this has been a dream of yours? We're gonna prove you wrong.
Yeah, we're gonna have you talking out of your ass and doing Rock and Robin and
this guy wants to be here. Oh my God, we got to do something about that. And that's 100%. Dude, it happened to me. It happened to me multiple times. Whenever I did stand up for my business or I wanted to contribute more to the company, I got sat home.
That's your fault for being reliable
and professional.
Yep, that's it. Nikki Ash, shout out Killer Cross, man. Like, I just want to say, I hope dude keeps his head up because he's a real man and fucking goes over on this political bullshit. But unfortunately, I just see that the level they went from what was kind of a kayfabe level of paranoia and not being a cohesive locker room. To me, that shit is right in the spotlight. And I heard this week's NXT was the shits, and I wouldn't doubt it because now everybody is like, what did they do to him? And that little paranoia sinks in everywhere, bro. And here's some more. Nikki Ash describes backstage reaction to her Raw Championship win. Let me see. And there's so much copy. It's such a fantastic feeling. It shows that I did something right. Nikki said with a giggle, you look back on the last 13 years when I first walked into training school to become a superstar 13 years ago, 13 years of traveling, trying to become the best version of myself I could be. For me, the respect and support and love don't set me off because I haven't done my makeup yet. Haha, because I had my makeup done, so she doesn't want to cry. Let me see. Oh man, this shit goes on. Going back to the Fan 5 segment, everyone was happy for her. But here's that. I think that's just bullshit lip service. I'm sure they were. I'm sure she's well liked. Is a sweet girl. But I had read also in the Hamin media discussion group, William L.C. reported the reason they put it on her the next night is because Charlotte Flair went out there and flipped the crowd off while they were fucking chanting Becky and for Andrade, and that they were super hot about that because they wanted all babyface shit, and she got real legit heat with fucking, it was great. I thought that was great shit, and they even go to blackout, and then come back with her flipping people off, and that it was punishment right there for her to lose the title the next night or later on Raw.
Oh man, I don't know about that. I mean, it worked out creatively for her to cash in right away and get I know they jump started that, but I'd rather have that than teasing it for like a year and then you're just tired of it.
Sure.
So maybe Charlotte goes away and you don't see her, and now all the return stuff and everything you did, and now Rhea Ripley, basically, for whatever talent that people might think she is, she took a loss. So now she's not going to get her win back, and Charlotte might be off. It's kind of a mess right now. Now Nikki's a babyface champion that people in this day and age, like you said, we love to tear them down before we build them back up after we tear them down again. That gimmick could play itself out in 2 to 3 weeks, and people could be booing her because it's a goofy gimmick.
Oh, 100% that it could, but they at least have the Molly Holly and Hurricane Helms button they can still push. But yeah, dude, not happy about the loss. I see that they would do that, especially with them cutting away. But dude, and it's all about the fans. It's all about baby faces. How dare you flip them off?
You flip them off, but then you can say bullshit and asshole on Raw the next night. So you got a streaming service that people are paying a membership for, and then on free TV you curse 2 to 3 times. So what's it going to be?
All heat from the Andrade stuff, probably still too. That's under the surface. Whatever she didn't want to do with Lacey Evans, whatever. I mean,
can I ask you a question?
Doesn't look too healthy wise, eating disorder wise. Who knows, man? Can
I ask you if they did the old, let's build you up a little bit and then let's just snatch it right away from you really quick? Think that there's no heat, and that way the shock of doing it is give you a little bit of a false sense of security. That's a game they play a lot. We'll punish you by really pushing you at first, and when you're way up here, and she might not even be on TV next week. I'd be very, very shocked if she was.
If this is true and that's what it's about, taking her off TV would be the next step of like, nah, well, and this is the level of toxicity that's going on. So when it gets normalized, and it's always been going on, but sometimes it ebbs and flows where it's really high or it's like everybody's on the same page. Right now, I think, dude, they are swimming in polluted water, everybody. And it's just like waiting to fuck with anybody at the cost of ratings, our storyline, our advertisers, our house show stories. Like, just for those inside the wrestling bubble, Ace, Bruce, which fucking producers will do the dirt that you want them to, and I'm sure a few select others, Dunn and whatnot, man, whether it's zooming in on fucking Otis's pimples or whatever the fuck it is, man. It's just so sophomoric and juvenile instead of being real businessmen and real producers to get the best product for your audience and serve them.
I'm so shocked that Jarrett got fired, which nobody really knows or anything, but I'm assuming that's what happened. But Jarrett's gone, and he was the Southern gentleman salesman that could, he would be perfect within Johnny Ace and the Bruces that have that kill you with kindness. That grin fuck you.
Yeah.
In a way, it's called. I'm surprised Jeff didn't flourish there.
Well,
in
he
that environment.
Should have got a DUI. He could have been Intercontinental Champion.
That's a good point.
Arya Davari says AEW was talked about tons backstage in WWE. Talking to Wrestle Stink, he says, to me, AEW is doing pro wrestling, and that's what the fans love. That's what I love. Politicking hard here. This is what I really been liking about it. They've been doing pro wrestling very, very well. Have you been watching the show? Everybody was talking about it. It's not necessarily just because of AEW, but I feel like people who really care on the job, they usually keep up with everything that's going on. You'd be surprised that there are wrestlers who keep up with independents and stuff like that. Most 205 and NXT do that anyway, because a lot of us are from the independents, so we'll still have a lot of friends there. Me personally, all my close friends, we kept up on all the wrestling products. I don't think I've ever went to Triple H and or a writer and been like, hey, I saw this on AEW. Can we do this here? That's usually more chatter among the boys. When it came to the office, I usually didn't mention AEW. After I got released, I sent out a tweet saying Dante and Darius, those two kids from Top Flight on AEW, are doing really well. They're good friends of mine. They're Minnesota guys. This goes on, but I really don't think I should acknowledge AEW because I know WWE can kind of be shitty about it. So after I got released, that was one of the first tweets I put out there because I hate having to pretend that we don't know these guys. And the thing is, a lot of people are like, oh, that's such a crazy rule. And I don't know if it's official rule. I doubt it is, but I don't think it would help your career as a WWE wrestler if you're tweeting about and congratulating the competition. I don't know. Shotzi Blackheart's taking shots at fucking Jericho, and now she's on the roster and isn't ready for TV whatsoever. This is, and Davari, both Davari brothers are far superior to Ali and Mansoor. So again, flying under the radar. I don't dare step out of line and say anything because that's going to give them all the ammunition they need to fuck me over. But guess what? I'm still fired anyway, so it doesn't matter. So instead of being controversial, and I mean, I'm a social media czar, so I'm sure they would crack down on them in the first second of how dare you fucking put these guys over whatsoever.
No, they wouldn't say a word. They would just fire them or take them off the road or starve them out for a year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think these conversations happen, but I think we know that the conversations, the internal dialogue in their mind of like, oh, I know what's going to happen. I have a question going back to the Charlotte Flair thing. This is just, you notice I don't really post much on social media anymore, unless it's just something or Goldberg beating me up and making me need to buy a belt squad. So I was expecting the text or the phone call, be like, well, I didn't hurt you. I never hurt you. I love you. That's what he used to say after every match when I said my back, I can't see my legs.
So silent when I did if Keith Lee, a young African-American athlete, can't beat fucking Bobby Lashley, what does a 55-year-old Jew, what chance do you have? You and Russo were just like silent. I was like, leaving me out there on some anti-Semitic shit. I was like, okay.
That's okay. You'll be able to work for the Daily Wire soon. You'll be good. No, but I looked up because I wanted to see if obviously there's a cryptic thing up here on her Instagram. They just can't help themselves. Andrade's got her up on the shoulder with her ass into the camera, and she put Poppy always has my back, meaning no matter what, you know they're trying to say something with that, right?
Sure.
But here's my question. This is like I said, you only have so much energy in the day. You almost have there's so many trips around the sun, whatever you want to say. Most of these pictures are professionally to some degree done, set up. They're both in the picture. Did they set up a tripod and put the timer on? And then obviously the first picture isn't good enough for no woman on Instagram. Or do they have an actual person with them that takes photos, like paparazzi type thing? Because there's lots of professional shots that, I mean, almost every single day with her alone or her with him posing on a boat deck where I mean, but someone's taking these pictures with the boat in the background with a DSLR. Then they're putting the card in the computer. They're editing the photos. How much time? I mean, I'm a tech guy, so it's not a 5-minute process. And you're not just taking one and done. You're reviewing the footage. This is, dude, I'm looking at each picture and I'm looking at 2, 3, 4 hours maybe total from shot to upload. And then you got to write the text. Then you got to figure, how can I say that everybody's against me, but he's got my back? Let me think about that. Right. I mean, and there's another hour.
This is the toxic paranoia that happens within the 3-4 hours at the arena that runs people's lives, bro. I mean, I'm so glad that Aaron and April on the A Show are doing just able to say what they want to. I said this before when he was a younger performer and I would sit there and watch him. I would see Damian Sandow, Aaron Stevens. During that time I talked about in developmental, and he was up on the road with Casey James on SmackDown coming back and forth and they're Dude,
I was there. Yeah.
Dude, his chest would be so tight. This guy's in his mid-20s, fucking hyperventilating, just sitting there before going to do a shitty 10-minute fucking developmental piece of like, am I going to get back up? Am I da-da-da? Like, they just have everyone wound so tight that they are doing narcissistic, egomaniacal, stab back vanity posts that have to be edited to get a subversive, subtle dig back of, I know what you're doing to me, but I'm going to get back at you on my Instagram, and that'll get stooged to go back to those who are fucking with me. And we're playing this Cold War back and forth using these. Like, that is exactly.
The office always wins. You're never going to win. Well, who's the first person that's going to win and have somebody in the office like a Carano or a Bruce or anybody go, I never looked at it that way. I'm glad I saw the Instagram post.
Damn.
I apologize. I know the error of my ways, and I will now be a good person in talent relations. When has that ever happened?
There is no winners. The only time that there's any get back is after they fired you, treated you like shit, and send your stuff to you in a fucking, while you're a Hall of Fame level performer, send your stuff in a garbage bag, and you can post one thing to show this is who your fucking real ringleaders are that bring you your bread and circuses. This is how they really operate and what they think about their talent, the fans, and everything. All you can do is show them under the spotlight for what they really are, as opposed to the faceless assassins that are backstage, bro.
I'd rather see Nick and Mickey paying attention and showing how much they love their kid in an Instagram video or post than the shit I'm seeing here. There's a completely different like motivation between those two things. And from what I see, they don't post too often about that, which makes me an even bigger fan because it's your personal life. It's not for the whole world to see.
Sure.
I don't know, man. That's just, to me, I become more and more sensitive to escaping this matrix of all this stuff, even the stuff that tries to, even if I probably sacrifice a little bit of my business and my income that way, the affiliate stuff and everything by not promoting it more. But I just am I don't have the motivation to do it unless I feel like, oh, that was a cool thing. And hopefully people see the Squat Max as a great device because I really do have back problems. And it's kind of making fun of myself. Like, here's 3 reasons I bought it. Like me just getting my ass handed to me. It was self-deprecating at best.
Sure.
With that. But man, these other ones are just like, holy shit, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm just I don't get it. Maybe being 50 has changed me.
I think you get it very well. Let's see here. We talked about Mothers Against Drunk Driving didn't come out for the DUI triple spectacular, but mothers claim that mother claims the WWE Slambulance toy encourages violence against emergency responders. It appears that one parent isn't a fan of WWE toys after reviewing a commercial featuring Drew McIntyre through a WWE ambulance called the WWE Slambulance. Bournemouth native and mother of three, Sabrina Fitzsimmons, also known as El Conto on the Indies, was left that the impression with WWE toys, feeling that it perpetuates violence toward ambulances and emergency responders. This toy is massively inappropriate, Fitzsimmons told LAD Bible. I wouldn't purchase that for my child, and I certainly wouldn't get behind advertising it. I just think you're crossing a line of ethics and morals. Toys are supposed to teach our children, not only be fun. When I saw it, I just thought, what a time to be advertising a toy like this to children. These people in the healthcare sector saved our lives. To advocate for a toy that perpetuates the message of violence toward the vehicles and the people that help us, I just think, what kind of message are you sending to children here? How is that okay? WWE has a huge following from little ones right up to adults, including my 13-year-old son. I just think it sends such a wrong message. I wasn't trying to be a Karen, but I found it really offensive given the pressure I know the services have been under and the sacrifices they've made. I could see that advert really upset my partner. You see what we're dealing with here?
Right there. Yeah.
Yep.
She the one who screamed when Trump was inaugurated?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You are a fucking daft cunt, Miss Fitzsimmons.
How many people use this in their mind? Probably our side of the whatever. And like, well, if you don't like the slambulance, then call the wambulance.
Oh, got him. Yeah. Wambulance.
By the way, this toy came out in 2020. Where the fuck have you been? Where have you been? This thing came out a year ago. We keep up on everything.
It keeps going. Fitzsimmons revealed that she sent the complete Smith's toys. I just fucking I can't stop. Who WWE notes sell the toys, which are made by Mattel. She was less than pleased with the response she got. Says it was sorry it offended you. Fitzsimmons revealed. I think they completely missed the message. It won't just have offended me. It offended my partner, who goes to work every day to help other people in emergency services. A lot of her friends work there. She just witnessed and had been party to having violence against her and her friends and her colleagues, like I myself have had in retail. We try to curb that and get that message across that it's not acceptable, and they're perpetuating a toy that's telling kids at a very young age, an impressible age. I think it's so wrong. 13-year-old Fitzsimmons kid, you got 5 years left of this jail sentence living under these two fucking idiots. Hopefully you can make it through and you won't be too damaged to goods, but I got to believe that these two fucking bookyocks have been making your life hell since day one when they adopted you or if you were born to them. And I hope that you're not a pronoun named fucking kid who's a complete science experiment at this point, whose mind they've completely tortured. This type of virtue signaling and cunting off and complaining is the lowest of the low new world privilege, if that's what all you have in your life to bitch about because of your gay partner, that you make sure you want to get that over. And I work retail, I see this all the time. I'm out in the world. You are
it. She's crushing it, as they would say.
Just the worst. You're just the worst, really. And to that kid, there's a brighter day 5 years from now. When you go to college or whatever, get the fuck away from these people as possible.
This is my question, to see if one is true, then if the other is true as well. This person's talking about the violence that this could cause or promotes or anything like that. Are these people, this person and her partner, are these two people that went to the riots, also known as peaceful protests, and help destroy police vehicles, fire trucks, ambulances, targets. Are these possibly the same exact people
Same people
that participated in that? And that's just, I don't know for sure. I'm just speculating, but I see when someone gets, and why are you not getting triggered over to dude who just won a tag title after 4 DUIs? They don't even know where to aim the weapon at, you know?
You'll be hoping for the ambulance to come when he fucking blasts your car on the side of the fucking road. You know,
The slambulance will be coming.
Yeah, the slambulance will be there. Wow, dude, I just want to fucking square people like that straight in the face with an overhand right. Like that's the problem. So no one ever went upside that lady's fucking head when she was a little kid, telling to shut it down. And her mom is probably twice the dumb fucking idiot that she is. It was reported that John Alba, by John Alba, the WWE still internally views NXT as a developmental brand instead of a third major brand, despite what Johnny Gargano says. Despite NXT airing weekly on USA Network, sources tell them that it's viewed as developmental rather than a third brand, as Paul Levesque's team has promoted over the past few years. This perspective is in sharp contrast to the message that Triple H has been pushing for years. Triple H has long said that he views NXT as the third brand, respectively. But that would obviously show why names are changed and shot back down again. Gargano's gone on record multiple times that shares objections to NXT being seen as developmentally stated. Anyone who says NXT is developmental, anyone who says NXT is less than, you are so wrong. The first NXT Triple Crown winner has also said, I think if you're going to consider NXT developmental, then Raw and SmackDown are developmental as well. Really? Let's see what you're put the paycheck out there. Are you making as much as you would on the road on the main roster? If the answer is yes, then I will support what you're saying. If it's no, then you're a mark and you're fooling yourself.
If you're making a living and you're making a very good living and you don't have to travel like you are on the road, why do you have to even defend it?
Well, here's one more.
Who cares what anybody, this is a slambulance type story. Yeah. Who cares what you're not going to defend or change anybody's mind. But I'd be like, especially if I was like, I think this kid's a heel now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, yeah, I'm in NXT and I'm making more money than anybody else out there. So yeah, call it what you would, developmental, but I'm getting paid main. Well, what you do, you get heat with the office then for saying I'm getting paid main roster money. They can't.
Because that's not main roster. If they're like, why would there be a difference? Adam Cole.
There might the NXT guys might be 1-to-1 right now with the new deals that Nick Khan's doing.
That's true.
Think about that. Would you rather make 75 and just stay in Orlando the whole time, or work house shows in Florida? Or would you rather go on the road for 75 and pay for hotel, rental car, all these things, which, by the way, I remind you, $100 a day for a rental car. Hotels charging extra kinds of COVID taxes and stuff like cleaning taxes. The prices are way, way up on travel. It's not worth it to be a wrestler anymore. Not a full-time one.
And I'll come back to that point in just a second. Cole spoke about the perception of NXT being seen as simply a developmental stage for WWE. He says, I really do believe that we are on the same level as the guys on Raw and guys on SmackDown. Again, paycheck. Earlier this year, the longest reigning NXT champion also tweeted to a reply to a fan and said, NXT is main roster. No debate. End of story. Oh, yeah? What are they drawing? 600,000. Not to say that Raw and SmackDown are drawing great numbers, but they're over 1 million. So you're not even in the same ballpark as that to start with. Paycheck, another thing. Touring, another thing. What are you getting pay-per-view bonus-wise? Developmental of toys around you. Is it the same? Is at the same level? This is nothing more. And like I said, Cole and Gargano can fucking run circles around me in the ring, but I can get over waving a flag. So that doesn't that don't fucking impress me much. But this is nothing more than excuses from guys who put their time in, but also know that they will never be 6'4" draws, 6'6". And that's why they have to keep perpetuating this lie or the whatever Triple H told them to say, because he had to lie to them to work them. No, you guys are main roster, bro. It's the same thing. Look at your better workers than them. We're main roster. We're on USA. Tell him that to pump his troops up. I can see that. Them believing it and drinking that Kool-Aid and keep trying to spit in everybody else's mouth. It's ridiculous, bro. It's a fucking laugh.
I think I ask this question each and every week. Why are they doing these stupid press junket interviews to begin with? Why are you not recording? Why are you not making people want to see and watch you and listen to you on the shows? It's almost like they're oversaturated and they're stale. Even if the shit was over, you're killing any kind of mystique you have. This is, I don't know, man. I think everybody gets too caught up with the bubble and being a mark and not realizing that this is probably, no matter what, going to pay you more than any regular job out there, unless you want to start your own thing, which we know, and Vince knows, takes years and years to even hopefully start to make a living. So I don't know what they're trying to do. The only person I've seen that's silent through these copy reads you read every week is Ciampa. I never hear anything. The only thing I ever hear from Ciampa is a message once in a while asking me about fitness equipment. I don't see interviews or
why.
And this guy could put up there what he does for workout and diet and have that crossover. But
he's not an indie goof. Tommaso's not an indie goof. He came through OVW developmental. He knows how to play the game. He knows when to stay small. He knows that he came in super small, not super small. He was working his ass off in Ring of Honor, put on size. Look at him now. Go back and watch his OVW when he was a manager of fucking anger management. And you won't even recognize the guy as the same fucking human being. So, yeah, man, it's laughable to me. And Ciampa definitely knows how to play the game. Let me see. Samoa Joe set to face Cross in NXT for the championship on NXT TakeOver 36 on August 22nd.
What match is that again? I didn't hear that.
Joe versus Killer Cross. So I think they'll pay it off there. We'll see if the heat dies down in 4 weeks before that match. Will they have Joe go over on Cross to prove a point? I would say they will.
Yeah, Joe's going over. I mean, Joe, I think would have went over no matter what because Cross is main roster now. But now they're going to take any bit of credibility away from him and have Joe go over. Mm-hmm. Also, Joe coming back. I mean, I guess maybe Joe wins the title and they put him on that undefeated streak. There could be some good out of this, and they just recreate what TNA did. Mm-hmm. Have him beat everybody. Mm-hmm. We'll see.
We'll see what shape he's in too. You know, he put on a lot. I don't know if I'm working to get pounds off, and I don't think Joe's going to be able to do it and go out there and look great in 4 weeks. I'm hoping I can. But
well, I'll tell you what I did. I mean, this is just, I've been struggling with especially the belly. I mean, I can lean out up top and all that stuff, but I have just a belly bloat, belly fat, distended type belly, and I didn't even do the growth to get it. See, I didn't even do anything. I should at least.
I was just gonna say, bro, you got to watch the opener of Dynamite last night. I don't know what happened to Jericho in the last 2 weeks, bro, but he's got a chest caved in, titties look soft, and growth belly, bro. I felt bad for him last night, dude. Really.
Well, here's what I did. I don't know what Jericho's deal is, except he makes a lot more money, and I would definitely I would definitely invest whatever he could. Yeah. I mean, he still goes out there every week and he still draws ratings. That's the thing. Like, whatever's going on with his body. I mean, I hope it's not. Here's what happens. And this is something. What's that?
They had super phony, put Spears in the corner, stand on the buckle, and give him 10 phony punches, bro. He's barely touching him. Like, the camera angle exposed it so bad in Seg 1. I felt bad for him.
Well, Spears doesn't have any hair either. So if you're, I'm saying if you have hair, it's easier to work that. Here's what I did. I came right before July 4th. I came back after kind of being away in Florida with my wife and her family. And I just felt so bloated. And I was in a state where I was like, we'll go out once a week or once every 2 weeks to eat, or we'll just kind of have a soda here and there. And I wasn't paying attention that, like, when I got to a certain age, I became really sensitive to what I think is most types of foods at this point. And it sounds snobbish, but it's not. I love food. I love eating. and I like eating cheap food because I want to save. So long story short, I weighed myself because I literally feel like my stomach's out to here
Mm-hmm.
and here like that. So 227.8.
Nice.
And that was like after the drive and after having to eat Chick-fil-A or whatever. And, we couldn't stop for good choices because we needed to get home. We were trying to beat traffic. So I did that. And then I was like, oh, I need to do whatever. And my weight fluctuated between 228 and around 224. And I'm like, well, okay, but I'm still way heavier than I need to be. And I'm leaning up top, which makes me look even fatter in profile. So last week, my wife saw that, man, your belly is like hard and distended. So there's a few different ways to look at it. I don't want to go off too much, but there's some Jericho should be looking into when you get to be a certain age and food sensitivities. And then also he drinks, right?
Yeah, he likes that Grey Goose. I mean, he's a rock star, bro.
Okay. I have liver issues. I've always had liver issues and I don't drink. So once again, no growth, no booze, and I'm getting all the stupid side effects. But there's something that happens with your liver where it can leak into your gut. There's also mild diverticulitis like Brock had. There's things that can distend your stomach that have nothing to do. And me with cardio and training and all that stuff, it just wouldn't go away.
Yeah.
So basically what I did on Sunday morning when I weighed probably around 224 still, I ended up saying I got to go on an elimination diet. If it ends up being carnivore or keto or whatever, I'm going to eliminate sugar. I'm going to eliminate dairy. I'm going to eliminate gluten, any kind of processed foods or anything like that. And it turned a little bit into a carnivore diet where I was just eating like steak and eggs. And I've even said to myself, man, I'm like, yeah, liver belly. Frank's right. I had liver belly, but I don't know if it's liver belly because I'm just trying to eliminate everything. Mm-hmm. So long story short, I eliminated all this stuff. I don't drink soda, even though we were like, oh, we'll just have a soda with some pizza on Sunday or what. I have to eliminate all that. So from Sunday morning when I decided to do this, and I haven't counted calories, I'm talking about eating as much meat as I can with eggs, drink a lot of water, stuff like that. I weighed myself this morning. I'm 215.5.
Wow. That's a good cut.
And I can feel a little bit of the difference. And I don't know if it's going to be carnivore, if it's going to be keto. I know one thing, sugar is number one off the list. And for Jericho, it would have to be alcohol.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. If you want to, his body looks like, I just saw pictures. His body looks like it was doing what mine's doing. No matter how much you train, rest, you're active, trying to eat right, your body or your organs, your liver, your gut, your colon, whatever it might be shutting down. This could be a serious thing of liver disease or like leads into liver cancer. Liver is a lot more in tune with what you're doing than you think. It's not just alcohol and drinking or vitamins that go through there, but also food. So I know it's a long dissertation on that, but I'm struggling with the same thing. And it is when you hit 40, 45, 50 years old, it could just be all that belly stuff that you're talking about, all the gut, everything backed up from a bad diet or no rest, or maybe you could have got a liver kick or punch. That's where I think mine started. King Mo hit me as hard as he could. And I think it was a liver punch. And my stomach was never the same since that day.
I mean, yeah, it definitely can have a huge effect on just holding water, weight, and retention and all that kind of stuff too, man, and extra fluids, no doubt. But you guys fucked up is because at one time you were super jacked and shredded. Now, if you guys put on 5 pounds, everybody's going to rib you. If you would have started out looking like a piece of shit like me, then nobody says anything. If you lose weight, they're like, wow, he looks fucking like he's lost some pounds, and they puts it back on. And I look like
shit on the heel TV show. So now everybody can say how much better I look than then. It's a real issue, dude. And it fucks with your mind. And I don't think he's doing it. I mean, he could be, I'm not assuming. You start trying to out-train it. You start to try to add protein. You start to try to just intermittent fast, but you're still training, but you got to eliminate everything. I was going to do a dedicated video blog on what I'm trying to do and where I'm at. I was so upset and I was so depressed on Saturday, Sunday, because my wife pointed it out. And that's when, not that it was mean, she was like, you aren't kidding. You
Yeah.
really do. I was just standing to the side and she was pressing on my stomach and it was like hard as a rock. So there were abs under there. But like I said, I got so depressed that I couldn't even stand to take the before picture because it disgusted me so much. So I don't know if he feels that way about. I'm always here to help and pass information. I mean, I'm like, I know a lot of people say I'm not in shape like Jericho, but I think I can help. They still say that, dude. I mean, there's people that are just completely just.
After this week, it looked like
Doesn't matter, man. You're going to have your diehard, and that's great that they're fans, but that's the false positive that a lot of people within the entertainment industry, there's nobody there to pull Tony Khan aside and say, hey, man, that was a fucking idiot promo. Stop. Don't do that again.
Yeah.
They're in the bubble.
Huge Jericho fan. I want to not have him see him look like opened up to take all that criticism, you know what I mean? Because he is their star player, but he's also doing this 5 Greek pillars or whatever the fuck stupid thing they're doing. So he's got to toe the line and have the matches, not MJF. It should be the other way around, with Jericho being the mouthpiece and letting the young guys wrestle. Jericho is the one who's got to be out there topless and fucking taking the heat. So
another thing is stress, cortisol. You can train all you want. Nobody worth to remember says that. I'm sure it's chemical thing.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. It's fascinating, but I understand why people give up so much because it's not easy.
Yeah. I didn't have to between that fucking fat guy and guy starting to get in shape phase. I never can really break. I can break out of it. It just takes more discipline. But if I, like this past 2 weeks, I had 2-3 beers when we were out playing golf, whatever, dude, I can go home, take my shot, and I go from like, all right, fat guy who's got muscle to like, dude, you look sloppy, bro, with the big beer, but like 2 fucking Coronas, man. So your people's bodies react different ways, obviously, but if you're on TV like that, you're open yourself up for judgment. And I just, got too much respect for that guy. A guy that I don't know and some people don't have respect for. It's a little controversy. Sorry. We'll do this one and then we can choose the other two. In the span of an hour, Velveteen Dream went from being booked to not being booked. In a deleted tweet, owner of Superstars of Wrestling Fed and promoter Rob Fury announced that Dream would be appearing on SWF's Home Sweet Home show on September 11th. I'll be in Buffalo at Buffalo Championship Wrestling on September 11th, saying some terrible things. SWF Wrestling and the Trifecta are happy to announce formerly known as Velveteen Dream will be making his first wrestling appearance at Tom's River YMCA a little over an hour later, and following numerous complaints from fans, SWF immediately backtracked and announced Dream had been pulled from the show in a follow-up tweet. So that after careful consideration, Dream has been removed. Man. Tonight we announced that Velveteen Dream would be appearing at our Home Sweet Home event. I believe any man can be slandered and have been through other situations in my life, unrelated but untrue. After careful consideration, Dream has been removed. So they're saying, people can be slandered and you don't know the truth or whether it's true or not, but he's still unbooked because you guys bitched enough and said that you didn't want the slambulance to show up. So cancel culture wins once again, just from people counting off. I don't know about his infractions, whether it was with the underage dude or whatever was going on there and some homoerotic texting, whether he smashed a car outside NXT, it's whatever. Why would you book a guy only to bow to some indie fans? If he's got heat and you're going to be the first one to get him, then play heat. Don't go, oh, no. If he's on the show, you might lose 5 asshole SJW fans who want to boycott. You'll probably pick up 20 who want to see a fucking controversy. That's being a folding promoter.
It's tough. What do you do if you're this kid right now? What do you do if, I mean, he's not the real victim. I'm saying with what we've seen and things that have happened. The chat room said that he's never been officially charged. He's never been criminally charged. So, but we're living in a different time where you're guilty until we say you're innocent.
Says
you're
who?
guilty anyway.
That's the problem. On his side, fuck, I don't want to go into this. On his side, staying silent and giving some mark-ass fans and promoters the upper hand to do that to you, where you're trying to limp back in, stick my head out. Hey, is it safe to come out and get back into wrestling, carny, phony wrestling again? No, get down there, and they whack you down. No, you have to be uncancelable. If you want to fucking talk, then the best thing Velveteen Dream could do is ask for a Russo brand show, or go work with Conrad, or work with somebody to keep his voice out there and say what needs to be said in a controversial first episode. I was never charged. I might have this, that, and the other, but you don't know what was said and what wasn't. And because of that, I don't think I should be demeaned and demoralized anymore. And if you like me, thank you for being my fan. If you don't like me and you're listening, thank you for listening, and go fuck yourself. Like, to the fact you have to make yourself uncancelable. And this is exactly what I went through with one of my good friends on Light the Fuse, talking about somebody she's close with. And now we don't talk anymore because they can't handle the, how dare you, we're trying to come up with some plans and fucking instead of just going, nah, I'm not selling for that. I'm a creative and I'm going to say what I want to say. And if I want to be in this business, and so be it. Otherwise, you're going to deal with this kind of shit till the end of time, because every time you try and step up, the haters who've never done anything in their life are going to use their little Twitter thumb power to tear you down, until you stand up to them and say, go fuck yourself and get out of here. I'm the wrestler. I'm the one. I was never charged with anything. Whatever you think you can cancel me, no, you're nothing. Look at my power of social media versus yours, and use it the right way to stay valid. I tried to explain that 3 months ago, and now there's repercussions from it. So it's whatever, man.
So if he I guess the thought is, if he stays silent, then he can't incriminate himself. But if he stays silent, then the way they look at it, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. If he stays silent, then it must mean he really did do it. I'm talking about how people view it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd rather come out over the top and say, dude, you don't control me, or you don't control my bookings. And he should be talking to that promoter to say, or have a promoter friend to say, I need to be back and I need you to back me. And this is what I'm going to do beforehand. If anybody steps up, I'm going to tell them to fuck off. Because why
would you book him though? What's the motivation for no. What's that guy's motivation for booking him? And this guy's been in some kind of other controversy, the promoter, this Rob Fury, right? Is that his name?
I think so. I'm not sure on him though, or not.
But do you see what I'm saying? Like, what was your motivation? Were you trying to be the first one to get him, or are you saying it's going to be a hot button thing and it's exactly why you unbooked him?
Right.
So that doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, that's not sticking to your guns. That's like, dude,
but his motivation was because of why he unbooked him, is why he booked him.
Yes, 100%. You were right on both accounts to start with, of why. The first and the controversy. Controversy created. They said it in their little indie booking meeting with his ref friends and his sound guy. Controversy creates cash, guys. We're going to make the sheets. SWF is going to get spotlight. There's no such thing as bad press, until you then fold and recant to the peanut gallery that doesn't. Well, I guess they do pay the boys because they're buying tickets, but the 5 SJWs who demand to be canceled that is free fodder right now for you to smack them like a piñata and show that it's heels over strong, and that, yes, we are the ones that dictate. You don't dictate to us, and we'll do that to see. And he's going to have a big message to the fans. Like, build the whole thing up so it has to be must see. But instead, they tried to be controversial. They tried to play the little way, but then turned around and folded in the same way. So no backbone and no plan to deal with what they should have known was going to come at them. Left trick.
Jimmy Uso is still.
Yep.
Okay.
Left Twix or right Twix, Stevie? 2 stories left.
Both taste horrible together. I'll go left.
Left Twix. Backstage news. on why Daniel Bryan chose to sign with AEW. Daniel Bryan has reportedly signed with AEW. As noted, Bryan wanted creative input into his character, and the plan was to have him debut on September 22nd episode of Dynamite titled Grand Slam that will take place at Arthur Ashe Stadium. Meltzer reports, that's some bullshit about New Japan. Bryan has been open to wrestling for other companies for quite some time. When he was with WWE, Bryan was vocal about wanting to wrestle people outside the company like ROH champ Jonathan Gresham and AEW star Jungle Boy. Yeah, dream match. WWE were in talks with New Japan earlier, with Khan looking to create a working relationship between the two. Bryan was a topic of conversation in the talks, where he would have been allowed to wrestle for New Japan while under WWE contract. However, there does not appear to be any updates to those discussions as AEW continues to work with New Japan. Bryan was last seen on SmackDown in April, losing to the Universal Champ Reigns. He was banned from SmackDown due to the stipulation match, and his contract expired a few days later. Stay tuned for updates. Again, kiss the librarians goodbye. So long, Big Swole. So long, when you sign a guy like this, mega money. Not that the Tony Khan and his dad don't have it, but that's TV time. So people who are even remotely getting a shot on Dynamite will soon all be in Elevation and Dark. Like there'll be no room for them. It's going to be strictly former WWE top level talent that is here for a payday and not for the fans, for the career ending moment in the sun that they didn't get. None of that shit. This is a strictly WCW, TNA, pick Dixie's pockets money shot right here.
Yeah. But my real question is the music room going to be cut from the budget?
That's interesting.
Smorgasbord.
That's interesting.
Do you think anybody in that locker room is thinking that way yet?
Yeah.
I mean, they're so.
I don't think.
But then they also think that they're super over and they can work anywhere they want because they haven't been. They're getting. I think the people that are within companies may have lost because of the high salaries, because of the 1 day a week and not having to travel. It's a shock to your system when you have to fight for it again. And it's easier to go from hungry to content. It's hard to go from super content to hungry again.
Well, I mean, they had Johnny Hungy and he was on the push, but guess what? His time is now next to nothing and his push is over with. Why? Because El Idolo has to get over with Cero Mierda and fucking Death Triangle. And
what? Who? What? Who are these? The Death Triangle? What?
Yeah. You don't know about Death Triangle? Pentagon.
I didn't see it on. Yeah, it should have been all over the main street. I thought Fox Sports covered. What are you doing? Fuck are these people? What?
Exactly.
Did they just come out and say, was this the thing? Like, that's Malachi Black. Like, oh, that's the Death Triangle. Oh, why?
You got it.
Watch Being the Elite.
It's Pac, Phoenix, and Pentagon, the Death Triangle. And it was Kingston as their boy as well in there, but that's something like, it's just ridiculous all the way around of thinking that these indie workers that they promised so much to, who became Jericho's singing chorus, they're all going to be gone. There's no way you can bring these top dollar contracts in who need time and expect the indie workers to even get a shot. So, and now with Daniel Bryan, and also on the right Twix side, apparently everything's been read at Chicago Comics because CM Punk is reportedly negotiating for an in-ring return. He's most likely place for him to go is AEW, but a contract hasn't been signed, nor a timetable, return date, or creative plans put in place. The report noted simply Punk and the company officially have been talking about him wrestling once again. The report said they haven't confirmed with Punk or AEW officials about the news. He was released in 2014. It talks about his UFC thing. But yeah, I mean, there's another multi-million-dollar signing. Maybe it's for just a one-off or a couple appearances as opposed to a contract. But what's that locker room got to think and feel right now with these guys coming in, bro? Like all that, even a Jungle Boy, a Luchasaurus, fucking, all these dudes who were on camera are gonna be gone, bro.
I ask you once again, do you think they will be worried about this?
Who's we?
I'm talking about the talent you're talking about. Like, fuck it, I'm over, man. I can work anywhere I want. I can do this and that.
No, I think they're in tune with the indies and big indie marks, and they'll just be like, hey, AEW's 10 from Dark Order is on the show, and they'll be living off that.
All right. Well, what about all those guys? Well, I mean, you talk about every one of those guys. I guess who's the Page kid is the leader of that deal.
No, he's
at the quadruple death triangle.
That's the pentagon of the triangle.
The compass, the compass triangle. I don't know.
That's
no, what I'm saying is like every one of those people could be let go and you wouldn't miss a thing, including Cabana, who should be the comedy act, the feel good act, the baby face that's having fun. But no, they threw him in there. Like all those guys. I'm just saying.
And Punk in the same locker room. Where's that relationship at?
Well, I think we just found out who'd be the first person let go if Punk got signed.
Possibly, it could be.
Here's the thing too. I'm looking at this whole deal. First of all, I'm really curious. I don't care about anybody's money, but I kind of do. I want to know like what kind of money you're throwing at Daniel Bryan and Punk. Is that between the two of them a $2 to $3 million a year like nut?
Yes, I would say $1 million minimum.
They deserve every dime of it if they can get it.
Sure.
So limited dates. They're not going to work every TV.
It's just the hypocrisy of when we started with those fucking, rallies, pep fest out in the fucking, out in the parking lot of, we're never going to do this. And this is all new and what we're going to do. Fucking 2 years later, gates are open.
Hey, I hear you, dude, but I'm just saying like, that's another, he said he can afford to lose 20 million a year for 4 years, right? Was that the thing?
Why would you even want that as your business plan? Like we're going to
that's a whole other episode we talked about. Why would you even say that out loud?
Yeah, dude, because that's when they all came to they came to take their bite. Whether it's Mark Henry, Big Show, Taz, whoever, bro.
But here's where you're never going to beat Vince. Vince is going to beat himself long before Tony Khan or that company ever beats him. You know why? If Daniel Bryan had just lost to Roman Reigns and showed up on AEW the next week, that's something.
Right.
If Punk was like right off a UFC win or lose on AEW, but now it's just like they aren't in the mainstream like ear of people. People aren't saying, "Oh my God, they're done now." Now I'm going to look and watch AEW, see if they show up. You see, I mean, they could show up now or a year from now. It's not going to make a difference in the ratings.
Have you guys talked about what you're gonna make your clique of Cody, you, Punk, and whoever else was on heels? We're got to bring in what's his name, Green Arrow too.
No, I think that's the other clique. I think it was going to be me, Punk, one of the Grips, and Luke.
Okay, all right.
And we're going to call ourselves the wellness triangle. Even though there's 4 people.
Stunt Squad.
Yeah,
Stunt Squad.
Wellness squared.
Stevie,
he came up and hugged me at the TV thing. He looked like he was back in WWE. He's like, I tried to get away from these people.
Oh shit, man, Stevie, this locker room wore me out. I appreciate all your time.
Sorry, man. I went off about my stupid.
Bro, it's not you at all. It's just like the slambulance got me. The slambulance got me. I'm not gonna lie. I have no tolerance for people like that on this planet anymore, bro. I really don't.
And you shouldn't.
And I'm not talking about anybody who has a partner out there. I'm not trying to say anti-gay hate speech. It's that mentality, that constant. If that's what you have to worry about as a goddamn child. So for your think about how you were when you're 13, how aware. Like if their kid was 4 or 5, maybe this would happen. This is a 13-year-old that my child should never. Oh, fuck you and your fucking precious child.
Well,
Yeah,
the thing is, 13-year-old kids hate the generation before them anyway, so it doesn't
yeah,
matter whether they're baby faces or heels.
right. But all these headlines healed out on me today, as well as billionaires launching themselves into space. I really support that. I'd like to see more test flight rockets from billionaires, and everybody at the Davos group and all of them can really work hard in getting into the outer atmosphere. I want you guys up there. I think that's a great place for all of you.
Every day
Uh,
they should go into space.
every day you guys should be launching cock rockets. Stevie, what are you blasting off to today, man? Some yoga to get the back right?
No, I'm gonna actually go out by the pool, listen to some No Agenda, as if I don't need more like mainstream media bullshit being exposed.
Right.
Like, obviously subscribe to the Realm Network and here to your feed, which will be on the Realm Network soon. But definitely No Agenda podcast is one. If you want another truth podcast where they actually make fun of these dumb fucks trying to shove this shit down your throat
Mm-hmm.
in a really good entertain. That's the format I think the Horsemen should steal.
Okay.
Because, dude, like you said, it wears us down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay right now because I'm laughing at it. You got to read this shit, but I mean, I'm going to go out there, try to get a little bit of a tan before my signing. I'll be in Niles, Ohio, Saturday from 10 to 4 with Nova, which he asked a stupid question, said, "Hey, do you want to go out and see a movie after this?" And I said, "I'm driving back to the hotel and I'm going to work out," which he was somehow shocked. I don't know why.
Yeah. I'm
Dude,
surprised.
I hate that. I'll tell you what, I'm not looking forward to wearing a mask again and having to be on a plane and having to do all this bullshit and having to I'm not wearing a mask at the signing. I'm shaking people's hands. I'm going to be friendly. I'm going to give them their money's worth. It's just come on, man. Come on, man.
Come on,
Look,
man.
listen. Look, here's the deal.
Is it full Blue World Order? Is Meanie in the house or just you
No,
guys?
he's not there. No, it's no Mova and I'll try to wear a blue t-shirt if I can remember. No half shirt, no Daisy Dukes. You got to pay you got to load up the money clip for that one.
Hey,
That's
man,
what
I'm off this weekend. I'll get the gut out and I give you the blue Hamini.
The bin meanie. The bin meanie. There you go.
Hamini.
You're going to drive all the way to Niles, Ohio. I mean, shit, I don't want to drive from Pittsburgh to Niles, Ohio.
I drove to fucking.
I remember that drive with the Blizzard Brawl or whatever, right? You got fucked on money.
That wasn't Blizzard Brawl. That was Blitz, and then paid off at the end because he overbooked that show big time. But we always,
or as Sal calls it, the Blizz. The Blizz Wrestling.
Oh man, you guys can check out 32 Degrees Clothing. Get great microphones and roadcasters from Rode themselves. You guys,
got to a product coming soon.
Nice.
Should I start let me ask everybody in the chat room before I go, because obviously I have the Stevie Richards Fitness, but I'm always trying to figure it out. I'm always paralysis by analysis, but I'm really I want my technology skills. I want my editing skills. I want all these other things to stay sharp. And I really do have a ton of tech that I need to kind of inform people and help people with. I don't know. I was trying to figure out if it was going to be a YouTube channel strictly on reviews or if it was going to be a weekly podcast that I could possibly put audio version on Russo or do just to offer some different category. Because God knows I'm not going to cover sports and football anymore. And I'm just tired of it. I like having my own little, but then again, I'm going to probably get pulled into fucking Apple claiming to be the greatest company on the planet and they put glue in everything.
Yeah.
I can't help myself, man. I'm fucking ruined.
You're only human. You can only hold yourself to some standard, bro. If it comes down to that, then I think you're doing
my shit tech show shirtless. I don't know.
Yeah, Russo would be on that all the time. But yeah, I mean, what I say, more content, especially with the knowledge you have to share, as opposed to us knocking people down and talking about people fucking taking selfies on boats and shit like that to combat silent heat in the office. No, you've got too much goodness in you and too much knowledge. You definitely should be sharing that. And if you want it on HMG when we go live on Realm, happy to do that, as well as support Stevie Richards YouTube. You guys over 75,000 there. Make sure you're subscribing, hitting the button so you can get that inspirational stuff, tech reviews and fitness reviews, so you can get away from all the constant madness that's inundated, man. And you can get more of it here on Friday Locker Room or Russo Brand. We had a good time doing Raw and SmackDown review this week. Master Shoot, as fun as ever. Great animations by Mandir. Last week's killed me, dude, with I'm going to harness the power of the Thunderdome. Like just some of the effects and tricks that he's editing in there makes me laugh and really brings joy after a tough week of dealing with all 14 hours of wrestling bullshit to get through, man. So thanks for supporting at patreon.com/Hamin Media Group. Here to do cameos this weekend, cameo.com/Ben Hamin, birthday wishes, quit your job, whatever you guys want. I'm here to do it. Vince or the original hacker himself. No shows, but I'll be in Rome on the 31st of July and then August 1st in Messina, New York. Rome, New York, Messina, New York. Immortal Championship Wrestling, New Breed Wrestling. So we're getting jacked and tan for that. Back at Planet Shitless, trying to drop that stubborn liver belly weight. Maybe I got hit in the liver one time. That's what happened to me.
I wouldn't doubt it, dude. Hey, by the way, you're doing stuff for Immortal, right, on July 31st?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. As a rib and just as the dedication to you to cut the promo, I rejected their cameo. Their cameo. Awesome. So use that in your promo.
I will. I'll use it all, man. The GGP will be there. It's going to be a good show all the way around. We'll have fun. I only have to travel 4 minutes to get to the arena. So that's nice. But y'all, you guys keep it locked. Hamin Media Group on Twitter, on Instagram, here on YouTube. Appreciate you joining us. We were up to about 55 strong this morning while I'm banned on Ben Hamin channel, but we'll keep producing around the clock for you guys, all of our affiliates, all of our Russo brand members, plenty of content, nowhere else to go. No need to go anywhere else except keep it locked here with us, you guys. So Stevie, thank you as always, buddy, for all the time. I know this is one of the last things we want to talk about, so I hate locking you in to have to do it, but always appreciate all your opinions and views.
If we got to watch it and you got to read this shit, we might as well laugh at it. That's why I think you just got to, we're not being disrespectful very quickly to anybody and all of the boy, but the boys are all laughing at this shit too. They're just too scared to laugh right now because they're right there. Believe me, they know the bullshit as well as we do. We're their therapy in a way to let them know they're not crazy.
The voice of reason, or just welcome. Maybe you are crazy and you can join us in the insane asylum of podcasting, but plenty of meetings today for show development for Realm Network, Russo brand. So we got to get to that. I'll be back at 1 with MSG, hopefully, and the Chris Silvio to break down AEW Dynamite Light the Fuse. A rough night for Fyter Fest second night compared to that first night, man. First hour was kind of, I don't know, not the best, but they had some good moments. So I look forward to hanging with those guys talking. And then I'll be doing Pro Wrestling 101 taped with John Paz later today. So a big day recording here at HMG Studios. Thanks for subscribing and listening to everything we're doing, you guys. ProWrestlingTees.com to rep us at the indie shows. And we'll see you infidels down the road. Y'all.